All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. We're gonna check its local and city searches and see if they got BSS for any of them. And we're back here in the GBC universe. We're taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star weapon of choice is FSIC full spectrum intent capture. More info on that, pin video, home video, somewhere around here. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our FSIC graph actually in white here. Highest intent people on the left, these people using social search, Google search. They're searching for a boudoir photo shoot in their city right now. Focused on talking about these peeps. When we're talking about BSS videos here. Way over on the right, these are the lowest intent peeps. They ain't searching for boudoir, and they basically have no idea what the heck boudoir even is. Talk about that on our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And right now we're only working with boudoir photographers spending more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. Now, boudoir search same as BSS is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 on Google. 0 slots is bad because that means 0 slots page 1 means we're on page 2 or deeper, and we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So we're invisible to approximately 80% of the market. And this is a recipe for our business to be dying super fast. And if we got 1 slot on page 1, that ain't good either. But it's not good enough because, there's 10 organic slots page 1 on Google. We got 1 slot that says there's 9 other boudoir photographers. Everyone's got 1 slot. Everyone looks the same. Nobody's standing out. So what's a buyer doing? They're clicking down everyone's website, opening up everyone's, contact form, filling out every contact form, getting a quote from everyone, getting, price shopping and the best deal for them, wasting everyone's time, blah, 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 blah. So we never want to have BSS boudoir search sameness. In both scenarios, yeah, we'll get contact forms if we got 1 slot, but like most of those people ain't going with us. It's only a 10% chance to go with us. So, just kind of real frustrating. That leads to the business dying as well. Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 Google search is actually not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are A, market saturation. Basically everyone knows what that is. Simply more boudoir photographers entering the market over time. And when that happens, people getting new iPhones or new cameras, they enter the marketplace. They're throwing up their Google Maps profile saying they do boudoir photography. They're throwing up their website saying they're now a boudoir photographer. They're posting them on mom groups on Facebook saying they do boudoir photo shoots. And that's more sellers for the same number of buyers. Makes it harder and harder for every seller to make a sale and kind of get those clients. Also happened in a big way with COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, forced a lot of people. Well, they still need to earn money. They still got to go get money. And so everyone's got a super powered smartphone with ultra camera. So easiest thing for them to do, become boudoir photographers. Now, the false face belief of page 1 inequality, that one's new. And as a result, we actually, this is where boudoir photographers actually originally believed that, kind of just automatically believe without even questioning, kind of that every boudoir photographer gets either 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google. But that's how, let's say they're on slot 9, page 1, slot 9 with their website. Some market saturation, now they're on page 2, slot 3, and they're kind of like, well, that's simply how it happens. And hopefully those peeps that are now ranking me, delete their website and Google de-indexes them. So maybe Google will pull me back up on page 1. But no, this is a 100% incorrect thought. This is the, let it happen to me thought. We actually want to be, let's make it happen thought, which is what I did. I actually went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 on Google in only 10 days with this new methodology we invented. And, proving that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, because we actually learned Google will give us as many slots on page 1 as we want to put in the effort to acquire. Now, boudoir photographer with BSS is a disappearing boudoir photographer. So again, BSS, boudoir search sameness, 0-1 slots, page 1, Google search. And if we got 0 slots, then we are, basically we're disappearing, we're invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. If we got 1 slot on page 1, we're still basically invisible. There's only a 10% chance someone's going to convert on us compared to everyone else. So both disappearing boudoir photographers make us disappearing boudoir photographers. And it's kind of like the warning light, the flashing flag, the whatever, the canary in the coal mine, that our boudoir photography business is now on the path to disappearing as well. But thankfully, we've discovered the solution to this S-cubed methodology. We've discovered that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And I mean, it works exactly as the name says. We saturate social search with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords. So we show up there. And what that acts as is basically like the snow up at the top of the Andes Mountains down in South America, snow on the eastern side, the backside of those Andes Mountains. And what happens is, that snow melts over time. The water flows into small streams, small rivers. But eventually all that melted snow collects down into the Amazon River. And that's page one Google search, the Amazon River. So basically everything, all this social search saturation stuff we do actually then flows onto page one of Google search if we do execute our SQ methodology correctly. And what's interesting about this, it's the only solution for boudoir photographers I've seen that actually allows them to increase actually gives them a chance to still grow the business in the face of massive market saturation, and gives them that opportunity in a relatively quick time frame. The only other solution I've seen that gives that same benefit is having a large, well-known brand, but we all know that takes like 5 to 10 years to build. And so that doesn't satisfy our relatively quick criteria. We need the relatively quick criteria because, dude, AI's here. AI is taking people's jobs. We don't have 5 to 10 years to build a brand. Ultra market saturation is coming for boudoir photographers. We gotta basically fortify ourselves before that happens. And an example here, actually two other things. First interesting thing is SQ methodology. It's just the way it works, allowing us to show up with such a high frequency on so many different surfaces. My estimate is it actually enables a large, well-known brand to be built 8x faster than normal conventional methods. So it's kind of like utilize SQ methodology for initial wins, get a brand in the future, and then imagine if you get a large, well-known brand and you continue to use SQ methodology in the future. I mean, you're basically going to be unbeatable. Now, one example here, we're going to say we are in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota, and the Twin Cities. And there's 1 million boudoir photographers there. And with those 1 million boudoir photographers, we are one of them. Everyone's got a boudoir photography website, trying to rank page one on Google. Ultra competition. And as a result, we're like, well, we ain't got no large brand. And we ain't got time to create a brand. So our only shot here to compete is utilizing SQ methodology. And so, dude, let's say we super crank this SQ methodology, and we take the first 300 slots, page one on Google search, or first 300 slots for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords across social search, and then those flow onto, let's say allows us to take up the first 300 slots, page one on Google search, and it's 10 organic slots per page on Google, so we're taking out the first 30 pages. So guess what? Anyone in our city is actually, is actually searching anywhere, social search or Google search for boudoir photo shoot, boudoir photographer, whatever, the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, we're basically the only one they're going to be finding, even though our market's ultra saturated. And so whose business is going to be growing during this time? Most likely ours. And whose business is going to be declining and like dying? Most likely the 999,999 other boudoir photographers in the city. And so, this is kind of a interesting example of what SQ methodology could enable, kind of at the ultra extreme end. But hey, finally, we got a shot here. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility. And initial benefit, more slots, page one Google search. That's cool. The other initial benefit, every new slot we get page one Google search, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. A lot of boudoir photographers love this one. Basically, can push their competitors to page two and deeper, and effectively making them visible to approximately 80% of searches, invisible to approximately 80% of the market, which, I mean, this is an awesome initial benefit. And page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. And this is where the GBC universe recommends hitting the 3 out of 10 minimum, 3 out of 10 page one slots on Google search minimum, because basically everyone else can have one slot. If we got 3, we're dominating them. and the ultra rare chance someone has 2 slots on page 1. Well, we're going to have 3. We're still dominating them. So 3, 3 out of 10, and that 3 out of 10 minimum is really the best for all scenarios. Obviously, it's the best to get even higher, but 3 out of 10 is kind of the minimum where we want to get to. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So this is our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. People thought they simply had to accept having 0 and 1 slots page 1 on Google. 100% incorrect. We now know that. We developed a solution, S-cubed methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. All right, my results now utilizing S-cubed methodology. For myself, I wanted to take over page 1 on Google for this search term, BLCS boudoir. So I utilize S-cubed methodology to see my results. And let's see, so we got Instagram, organic slot 1, me. Organic slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I searching for this, who are they going with, who are they clicking on? Obviously me. I went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So these are my results I got utilizing S-cubed methodology. All right, now main event here, we're going to check this boudoir photography business. I'm going to check out its local search and its city search. See if they got BSS for either local or their city search, and also see if they're hitting the GBC recommended minimums, 3 out of 10 slots for each. So we're going to Hampton, Virginia, and Newport News, Virginia. All right, let's head over there now. Hampton, Virginia, just no data. All right, so let's see what we got. Go to organic. So boom, we got one. Let's see what else. Let's see. All right, so we got one. So we got 1 out of 10 for local. Yeah. All right, so 1 out of 10 for local. And now let's check city. Let's see. And 1 out of 10 for city. All right, so for both. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 for both. And so that means we got BSS for both of them. And we're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum. 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search for either of them. All right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, because you've done your local search for the highest intent keywords that boudoir buyers are searching for in your local area, and then in your city area, and either you had BSS for one of them or both of them, or you did not hit the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 for one of them or both of them, then, well, and you see, finally there's a solution here, S-cubed methodology. Like, yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. And you're able to see that because you've accepted that. The false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. We're not just subject to the whims of Google search. Google actually allows us to go and take as many page 1 slots as we want, as we'll put in the effort for. So you realize that's a false belief, to just kind of let it be, and we can go grab and take as much as we want. And you also send the 2 prongs of market saturation. More boudoir photographers every week. Someone's getting a new phone, someone getting a new camera. You like the initial benefits, more slots on page 1, and especially kicking your competitors off page 1, making them disappear. And so you're liking dominating page 1 and preventing current boudoir photographers from getting in, or ranking on page 1, or essentially ever being seen by the approximately 80% bulk of the Google searchers, the market. And you're actually thinking ahead, and you're saying AI, okay, it's taking more and more people's jobs every single day. Last time that happened, COVID, more people are forced to become boudoir photographers to earn money. So like, all right, I already know what over and above more people buying new iPhones, getting new cameras, more people getting new being forced to become boudoir photographers, but they already have the device in their hands already. And so you want to fortify your position. You see S-cubed methodology is the perfect way to do that. And you also like the extra backend benefits that you can see with, using the solution, which is for every day we execute on S-cubed methodology correctly, we actually increase the probability of getting recommended here, top primary, placement, the best slot, AI overview. And when we get this premium placement, people are getting, kind of like a Google best recommended badge, hidden, but kind of implicitly in the buyer's, in the buyer subconscious. And also, every day we do SQ methodology correctly, you know, we're basically building up these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of like columns or spokes out from the hub of our brand, our business name. And that's what AI uses for the AI overview. And also, as we build up these invisible thematic keyword columns, we are increasing the probability that AI search recommends us for an AI search query. That's ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, and also Google Gemini. So these are kind of future benefits of executing SQ methodology correct today, day after day after day. Other future benefit obviously helps us build a brand faster since we're everywhere at once, way faster, about 4 times faster than normal. Actually, it could be 6, 7, 8 times faster than normal actually. So also building the brand faster, and you've decided you're going to be a first person mover of your city using SQ methodology because, well, you heard that my current plan right now is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you want to hop on that. You decide you're going to hop on that to kick out all your competitors, and actually get these initial benefits. More slots page one, kicking more people off page one, fortifying your page one for new boudoir photographers when AI is taking people's jobs, building up AI overview probability, AI search recommendation probability. Because, dude, I remember when I searched for boudoir photographers in the city, ChatGPT, last time I did it, it recommended 3. And I went there manually, searched with Google, went through all the list, there was like 60. And so we really got to win Google AI search because it's increasing every single year. I haven't used standard Google search for things in like a year. Or AI search is increasing every single day. I mean, I've used the AI mode on Google a lot. Give me the summary. I don't want to read nothing. And so increase probability AI overview placement, increase probability AI search placement, approximately 8 times faster to create a brand because of all these other initial benefits. So imagine you got a winning brand and you're still using SQ methodology. And everyday user making bigger and bigger strides against your current competitors in the city because they ain't working with me. That's the plan right now. And you also see conversely, if your competitor works with me first, and you get shut out, you lose all these initial benefits, you lose all the fortification benefits, you lose the future benefits, AI overview, higher probability recommended AI search, building a brand approximately 8 times faster. And you actually first need to rederive or derive for the first time S-cubed methodology for yourself, and then you need to go execute it. And you're never going to be 100% confident executing it because you're never going to know if you've derived it or rederived it correctly. But let's say you're equaling our output, but me and your competitor have already been working together a bunch, so we have a massive gap between us already. So even if you equal our output, you're guaranteed to just keep the gap the same size between your competitor and your city that's working with me and you. So you need to actually double or triple our output to kind of pull those invisible thematic keyword column momentum away from the AI kind of brain overview from your competitor over towards yourself. And it's like, dude, who's got the 80 hours? You need like 80 hours a day. You need like 80 hours a day to do that. So you decide, screw that. You decide you're going to be the first mover of your city hopping on this, because you don't want to deal with not getting these benefits and your competitor getting them instead of you. So if that's you, shoot me a DM. When my when my DM's open. My DMs are currently closed. Hospital is currently closed for new patients. But when the hospital opens for new patients, shoot me a DM and we'll see if you qualify to use our S-cubed methodology.